Good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're seeing this. I hope you're having a great day. And welcome to my Mad Lab. I am the Mad Lad. These are my Mad Lad creations. And if you would like to see the personal deck list for yourself, look down in the description below. I've been updating some of my personal favorite decks over the last few months. And with it, I wanted to make a run back to one of my personal favorite decks. And I want to say my most consistently updated deck for like the videos I've made because I absolutely love this fucking deck. With it, it's my mono green Halsin's Berry Pie deck. Originally, it was called Trippy Token Transmutation, but Halsin's Berry Pie makes it a little more beneficial in the sense of, or makes sense a little bit more in my opinion. For those that don't know, Halsin can turn any type of token into a 4/4 bear in addition to its other colors types of token, whatever it is. What that means is if we have keywords or anything like that, they'll maintain keyword while being switched over into a 4/4 bear. So the main gimmick of this deck and the most important card of this deck is Academy Manufacturer, which if we generate a clue, food, or a treasure token, we create all of them instead. Because of how many tokens we like to make in this deck, the other most important cards in this deck are, as a backup, Altar of the Brood, basically turns all of our food, clue, and treasure tokens into mana dorks with Jaira, Kamal Heart of Kroza, which makes our 4/4 bears into 7/7 trampler bears, and can absolutely just in games like that. And because I love doing degenerate shit, Seedborn Muse. Untap all permanents I control during each player's untap step. With it, one of the biggest things about this deck is A, trying to get as much mana out as possible, and B, trying to get as many tokens out as possible, because tokens give us mana. And the way we achieve both of these are, or a token into a creature, we can sacrifice them to Ashnod's Altar, giving us basically 3 mana per creature. Bootlegger Stash, which with an Academy Manufacturer turns basically our 1 mana lands into 3 mana lands. Fell War Stone, it's 2 mana drop, gives us more. The main part about Garuk Wildspeaker is giving us additional lands with that +1. The bottom, the ultimate is nice, but we also have Kamal Heart of Kroza, so it's not as beneficial, but is still nice. It is just a land search deck thins. We can get a massive amount of devotion onto the field. We don't need the additional step with Ashnod's Altar to generate a creature, so we could just go ahead and sacrifice them for mana. All of our forests tap for additional greens. 2 mana mana rock, searches out land, 1 drop, 1 mana drop, gives us tokens that have indestructible, so we don't have to worry about our tokens being destroyed. Plus is also a mana rock, Soul Ring because it's commander, and Wayfarer's Bauble. Our actual token generators that we have in this deck include a Fog of Arachnogenesis, Awakening Zone, which happens on our upkeep, which also gives us mana, Carrion Call, because it generates a token with Infect. We can pump these 2 tokens to 4/4. They'll maintain Infect, which there is a little bit of synergy later along with Infect, which y'all will see. Creates a Elf token and is Toolbox, and later along can add for massive card draw. Upkeep creates a Scion, which can be sacrificed for mana, or we can turn it into a 4/4. At the beginning of upkeep, create a Wolf, and then we can later along, if it lasts that long, can actually burn. I would probably say our single-handedly biggest mana generator in the sense of Mycolith, and create where is the number of +1/+1 counters thanks to Devour 2. Mirror Battlefield generates 4 off the top, 4 tokens on ETB, creates a token, pumps our board. Our biggest single hand treasure generator in Old Gnawbone. Ovaya Pashiri can create a small one or can generate a massive creature who doesn't love doubling tokens. Phyrexian Swarmlord is what I was meaning earlier with where Infect has a minor engine in itself, in the sense of at the beginning of your upkeep, create create a number of 1/1 insects with infect for each poison counter each opponent has. So let's say if each opponent has 8, we'll generate 24 insects with infect, which we can immediately turn into 4/4s. Retrofitter Foundry, because we like having Thopters with flying because they'll maintain it. Scepter of Celebration gives trample to something and can generate more tokens for us. Scute Swarm, because Scute Swarm and it absolutely multiplies. Let's just double all of our tokens at instant speed. Tendershoot Dryad gives us token on each opponent's upkeep, or each upkeep, including my own. So that's 4 across the table. And then gets a pump whenever we have Eddie's Blessing, 10 or more permanents. And because of how Halsin is worded, if we turn a Sapperling into a 4/4, it's a bear in addition. So it'll maintain that pump, making all of them 6/6s. Tervigon, I'm assuming that's how it is. It's a draw card and generates tokens whenever it deals combat damage to that number, kind of like Scepter of Celebration. Because we are running Academy Manufacturer and Bootlegger Stash, of course I have Tireless Provisioner, which gives us a food or a treasure. It doesn't matter if Academy Manufacturer is out on the field, but if it's not, we'll typically go with treasures so that we can use them to extend our plays more. Tracker for the same reason, but we only get Clue. In the same sense, it is card draw. Undercell Myconid, which on ETB, and if it dies, generates a Sapperling for us. Verdant Command typically is going to be used for the create squirrel tokens and counter target loyalty ability of a Planeswalker. Even though it's a little more niche, it is there if we need it. Verdant Force, kind of like Tendershoot Dryad, creates a Sapperling on each opponent or each upkeep, so it can get out of hand real quick, which is Oven is a 1-drop in this, but the important thing is if the sacrificed creature's toughness was 4 or greater, create 2 food tokens instead. So once per turn, we can use a food token, turn it into a 4/4 bear, sacrifice it, and we'll get 2 food tokens back. Then if we have one of our other things, we can just continue to extend off like that. Last one of our token generators is Wolverine Riders, which same thing with Verdant Force and Tendershoot Dryad. Each upkeep create a Elf Warrior and we just slowly start to gain life from it. The interesting thing though about Tendershoot Wolverine Riders is with it, we can actually, whenever another elf enters the battlefield under your control, you gain life equal to its toughness. We can actually respond to this trigger with Halsin and gain 4 life. The way we get these 4 out, excluding Altar of the Brood, is through Court of Calling, which is a singular choice, but has Convoke and is basically a guaranteed Academy Manufacturer for it. Instrument of the Bard, typically we want to search the legendary creature so that we get this second effect in creating a treasure token. Called with a Forge Master, sacrifice 3 artifacts, search for an artifact card, Academy Manufacturer, and put it onto the battlefield. Time of Need searches for a legendary creature, which would either be Kamal or Jaira, depending on what we're needing. Uncage the Menagerie, search up to X creature cards with different names that each have converted mana cost X or less, put them into hand. So if we do, usually we want to do X is equal to 4, I believe, so that we can get a 1-drop, a 2-drop, a 3-drop, and a 4-drop, giving us Academy Manufacturer, Ovia, Tervigion, and I think that's it. Weird Harvest does the exact same thing, but it's for each player searches for X creature cards, which typically, once again, we want to do 4. And Worldly Tutor, our best tutor of the deck, to search up any one creature, which typically is Academy Manufacturer. The cards I couldn't really place in any specific way are Gonti's Aetherheart, which, because we generate so much food, clue, and treasure tokens, we could just be taking extra turn after extra turn, extra turn. Oh, no, it's only 1. But still, we can potentially just get this in 1 turn, basically. Evolutionary Leap to get us creatures off the top, basically turn any of our tokens, as long as they're not one of the creature tokens, and potentially get something way better off the top of our deck. And Druid's Deliverance, because it's a fog that also gives us Populate. And then excluding Kamal Heart of Kroza, our Game enders are basically a Chroma's Will, which give us all the keywords basically and protection from black and red. Oron Frostfang gives us Death Touch and draws us cards. Triumph of the Horde makes it so that our creatures deal infect damage and have trample, which, since we are making 4/4s, can absolutely end games. And power doublers, because why not? The last few draw cards I run in this deck are Colossal Majesty, because we can respond to this trigger with Halsin. Greater Good, because drawing 4 cards, discarding 3 is still plus. Idol of Oblivion, because there shouldn't be a singular turn where I don't generate a token. And Sylvan Library, because pay 8 life, draw 3 cards, is absolutely exponential in this deck. Evolving Wilds to deck thin. Gargoyle's Castle, because it makes a 3/4 gargoyle with flying. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. Gingerbread Cabin creates us a food token if we have 3 or more other forests. Jungle Basin, so that we can bounce this back. Or our last one, Colony Garden, which generates a plant token.